Like there wasn't a and then ooh, calm down. Hello to all my bookish babes. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Shelly, and this is my very first review of 2023. I'm recording this on January 1st because I decided to hit the ground running with my book goals. I set a book goal of 100 books. It's officially 65, but I am striving for 100 books. And to keep myself like really on the ball, I decided to make a YouTube review of every single book that I read. So by the end of the year, you should expect to see at least 100 videos from me. And it really just motivates me to actually strive for that goal instead of giving up part way, because I've actually said this out loud and I've told people. And so there's an expectation there. But yes, I decided to hit the ground running and just read as soon as we entered the year. And I'm actually so proud of myself because I finished a book on January 1st. I don't know if I'm going to keep the same momentum, but guys, let's hope for the best. And the first book that I actually read in 2023 is Gild. Okay, so I know that quite a few people have commented on this book, and there have just been a lot of mixed reviews, but the fact of the matter is I've seen a lot of good reviews, more so than the bad ones, and so I couldn't help myself. It's a fantasy and the covers are stunning, so why not give it a shot? And I also got the limited edition special editions from Waterstones, so they need to be read. Something needs to be done with them. Like, we're not going to leave them by the wayside. And the fifth book is coming out in 2023, so why not get ahead of it? So I read it and I have quite a few things to say, and so let's get into it. But before I go any further, I want everyone to understand how I actually review my books. I do try to be as objective as possible when reviewing books. Like, I look at plot, story, characters. I try to be as objective as possible, but come on, I'm human. I can't help my actual opinions coming out. So I do know when it comes to the final rating I give a book, it's definitely definitely my opinion at the end of the day. I judge books on pace. I love fast-paced books, so a book that is more slow-paced will probably get a low review from me, unless you're like really amazing. Character, I love character-driven books. Plot-driven books are great, but I love character-driven books. I love seeing the character grow and character develop. I love seeing a character that can surprise me, shock me, annoy me, break my heart. I love seeing it all, but I love character-driven books. And at the end of the day, tropes, okay? There are certain tropes I love, certain tropes I hate, and so I look out for certain tropes, and if I see you, this might definitely affect the rating end. But let's actually go into Gild. Gild is a book by Raven Kennedy. I know that it blew up, I think, earlier in 2022, but it actually got released in 2020. And basically, the whole book is a retelling of King Midas. Now, King Midas is this king who can touch anything and it turns to gold. So it's a retelling where King Midas actually touches a human and turns her gold, and then he has her in this cage as like his prized possession. And people come to gawk at her and like stare at her, but she's literally a prisoner, hence the series title, the Plated Prisoner series. Now let's get into this review. First and foremost, the first few pages, is a bit too graphic for my liking. This is an adult book, so let's be honest, we expected adult content, especially if it's a fantasy book. They're just always there. I'm not saying that is what struck me, is the fact that they opened it with graphic everywhere, and I was just like, can you give us a moment? Like, can I have a breath? Like, give me a few pages before you walk into it. Like, establish something. And I understood why Raven Kennedy, the author, did it, because it kind of helps us to see the circumstances that the main character is, that the female main character is in, and helps us to see a bit of the context to it, like the environment that she's living in, and King Midas's character, and the people who are around her. I understand that, but still, for the first like 15 pages, guys, it was madness. Like, I said, please pause. Maybe do this a bit later in the game. Okay, why are you starting with an orgy? Like, please pause. Give it a minute. That was my first, that was literally my first comment. Second, Oren. The main character is called Oren, and her desperation for a man who was literally treating her like absolute rubbish. It was annoying me every minute every page that I turned, I was annoyed. I'm like, sis, please, self-respect is real, okay? Self-respect is good. Please, I need you to obtain some. It was just, I was getting increasingly upset with every page that I turned. I said, if she doesn't please just collect herself. I was really just, it was testing my patience. Like, it was testing my patience. And I know, once again, that this probably will, work itself into her character development. But the way she really was allowing herself to be treated like dirt, obviously, it has a lot to do with her past and her relationship with King Midas. I don't give a heck, okay? I don't give a heck. He was treating her like trash, rubbish, blatantly disrespecting her in front of everyone, and, like, even in private. I said, please, you know what? No, that's a no for me. That's a no for me. Next. Now, Oren, as I was reading it, it just became clear that she was in this state of, like, limerence. Like, it's not love. It's basically like love at first sight. It's like all of these emotions, all of these butterflies that you mistake for love. And it has a lot to do with, how her and King Midas met, and, like, what, she perceives him to be, like her rescuer. She literally fell for her rescuer to the point that she's allowing everything to happen. And I'm just like, I feel like if she just gets a proper slap to the face, she'll just get herself out of it. Because I was just reading and reading, and I'm just seeing her in this state of just feeling like she is in love with this man who treats her like, I'm like, sis, that's not love. You need to get yourself out of that mess, please. Next. Now, this is a note that I made. I think I just made it because I was just becoming increasingly frustrated with the situations and, the relationship between King Midas and Oren. I literally wrote here, I said, Midas is a manipulative prick exploiting Oren's desire for simple kindness. Okay, so Oren, obviously, with a lot of characters in books, they always have a past. To be fair, some characters have happy-go-lucky past, but Oren has a not so happy past, and King Midas helped to get her out of it. But because of the past that she's used to, I can understand her desire for, like, love and kindness and to feel wanted. And I'm looking at her and I'm just like, this is not what he's doing. And he's very manipulative in the sense that he's withholding kindness and love from her for, like, majority of the time that he's with her, so that when he gives her that little inkling, that little drop, she is lapping it up. Like, she is eating it up because she's been so deprived of it that little piece of kindness that he grants her does everything for her. And I'm just like, you manipulative piece of crap. Like, are you okay? Are you okay? I just couldn't do it, guys. And all these little notes aside, yeah, let's actually get into how everything worked. So this is categorized as low fantasy, and I agree, okay? This is and it's not even low fantasy. This is very, 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 very low fantasy. As in, outside of the fact that she is a human who literally has been made gold, like, there's no other fantasy aspects. I'm just like, are you going to mention something? Like, they mention here and there, like, the kingdoms, the kings of the kingdoms have magic and stuff like that, and then they'll, like, put a little drop of a creature that's obviously not real. But I'm just like, outside of that, it's not giving me fantasy. I'm like, bruh, this could have really been a regular story. This really could have been contemporary. Like, bruh. I'm not seeing the fantasy. I know it says low fantasy, but I'm like, I almost forgot that it was magic. It was just a story to me. I'm just like, this is just a story of someone being abused. This is what it was. So very, very low fantasy. So if you're really into high fantasy, this might kind of like, but towards the end, it does show that there's going to be more magic, more fantasy, playing a part of it. So, might have to just stick it out. Now, next, the pace. Now, I mentioned earlier, I love fast-paced books, and so it really, the pace really is a huge factor when I'm, like, judging my books. But if it's a really good book, I'll keep it. I'm like, I'll stick with you if you're a really good book. This book was mid-pace. Like, it wasn't slow, but it wasn't fast. So mid-pace I can deal with. But the thing with this mid-pace thing is that the plot and the story started out weak, okay? Both of you started out weak. And so I was very tempted to even just put this to the side and DNF it at the beginning of the year. Because I'm just like, you're not, like, weak, but you ain't strong. So I was just here like, I don't know what to do with this. It was slightly weak for me. But weirdly enough, because of, like, the idea behind the story is a strong idea. So I'm just like, I'm just trusting that you're going to get better. So I'm going to stick it out. Guys, it stayed slow. It stayed kind of midweek for like majority of the story. It got a bit better towards the end. Now, this is what I really found fault with when it comes to the story. The story is too linear for my liking. When I say it was too linear, as in, I'm not even sure this story had more than one act, okay? I was just like, is there any rising and falling action here? Is there a climax that we're getting to? It was just like this. Like, we stayed in the same thing. Like, there wasn't a, and then, ooh, calm down. There wasn't rising action. There wasn't, we're climbing up to the climax and then we're going to lower down and so up. No, the story was just linear. I thought was going on. I said, please, I'm not interested at this point. Like, you need to speed it up. You need to do something. Like, please, like, get it together. And the thing that rescued it was the interactions between the characters. Now, this is what I like with books, because I'm just like, okay, this is building up to something. The relationship between these two, that's gonna get better. So, relationship between her and her guards, I was just like, this is going to get interesting. The relationship between her and the other girls in the book, I'm like, okay, this is going to be more complex. Okay, it's gonna get better. Okay, I'm getting into it. And that's what kept me for the most of like the latter half of the book, but it was still linear. I'm like, you need to do better at this, okay? And let me be real. At some points, the book was overly descriptive. I was just like, this is unnecessary. I know, like, we definitely, as readers, definitely need that show and not tell. So definitely describe, help us to see, you know. But I'm just like, please, I'm seeing too much. This is not necessary. This is very much not necessary. So, like, it was just over descriptive at parts where I'm just like, you're trying too hard. I didn't know what to do. But but I tell you, this book, it was weird because, like I said, plot and story was a bit mid. Like, it wasn't that strong, overly descriptive. Characters kept me a bit engaged, but it's not like they were like over the top. And the story was linear, all throughout. It was in a single act. It was weird. It was just not enough, to be honest. Not even a lot. It was not enough. But through it all, I gave it a 3 stars because I'm just like, there's potential, and I definitely see the second book being better. But a lot of things to work on, and I hope that second book improves. I know second books are really where they get like really in there, because first books are usually where they do world building and all that. But give me a bit more in the second book, please, because if this is the book that you guys have been raving about, I have words. Like, all of you guys are liars and you need to do better. Like, stop with the lies. And also, I know King Midas is meant to be like, and he's very much appearing like the villain. I don't care what they're going to do with him. He's very much appearing like the villain. And I know everything that he's doing is meant to cast him in that light. But I was so frustrated with all the misogynoir. Like, the fact that he has a bunch of concubines and he calls them saddles. Saddles, okay? There was a part of the book where someone called her a whore instead of a saddle, and she's just like, oh, I flinched at that word because, you know, it's a bit worse than saddle. I'm just like, no. That word is not worse than saddle. I'm like, you're really telling me, you're really referring to these women as saddles, you know, the thing that you put on horses to go and mount them and ride them. It was so offensive to me, and as they kept using it throughout the book, I just wanted to fight. And once again, I know this is really just helping us to just, you know, cast King Midas in that light of just being this misogynistic piece of crap. But I was frustrated. I was so frustrated. This second book, I better see Oren get in it. I better see her, like, really just pick up some strength and really just see with her brain, because I'm tired of her seeing with her heart, because her heart is leading her to really believe that this man loves her, that she loves him, and it's getting on my nerves. Okay, so yeah, 3 star, you know, 3 star, that's a solid start for me, because if you were a 2 star, then I would have to dump all of these books in the trash. 3 star, I can deal with you. It's not the strongest start to my 2023 year, you know, it's not the strongest start to my road to 100 books, but you know, it's an okay start. And I would read the second book immediately after, but I kind of want something that I'm expecting to be a 4-star book or a 5-star book. So I personally am not going to continue with this until February. I need something to pick it up in January. We can't keep doing this. But all in all, guys, it was an okay read, okay? I don't know if you want to pick this up. Like I said, low fantasy, a bit misogynistic, mid-story and plot. But like I said, towards the end, it picks up, and it does leave an opening for a lot of fun things to happen in the second and third and fourth and fifth book. So guys, when I do read the second book, I'll let you guys know what I think of that. But that is it for my review of Gild by Raven Kennedy, guys. 3 stars. Okay. And excited for book 2 of this Road to 100 in 2023. And if you did enjoy my ranting and this like iffy review, then obviously give me a like, comment, and obviously share. Bye!